everybody. This is your announcement for Philosophy 201G, Introduction to Philosophy. Okay, so last week we talked about gender and race in terms of identity and if those factors um, are important in determining one's identity. And I looked through the discussions. I'm going to be grading them this week, and it was interesting to see, your thoughts about both of those topics. With regard to race, that's an interesting one, isn't it? And Naomi Zach, I think, gives us something interesting to think about, to consider in terms of to what extent, should race determine one's identity. And I know many of you talked about that it hasn't been a factor too much. And I know many of you who, and I sort of gravitate to this because I kind of feel it too. If you're Hispanic, like I am, I know some of you talked about that and what that has meant in your life, and whether or not that has been a determinant of your identity. And the experiences that you've had with that. And it's interesting, here in the Southwest, technically, according to kind of US government categories, Hispanic is not a race, it's an ethnicity. But I think that because we live here and the culture is so prevalent, and in New Mexico and in the Southwest, I think many of us, and I'll just speak for myself, sometimes it feels like a race. It feels like a separate category. But the truth is, within the Hispanic category, there actually can be more than one race. There are Hispanics who are black, and there are Hispanics who are white or Caucasian as well, in terms of race. So it's an interesting subject, and I'm glad you all, had thoughts about that and expressed those thoughts. Okay, so moving on, we are now in Module 1.4. So this is a different kind of module. This is what I call a writing module. So there is no more reading that you're going to do for this week, but rather you're going to reflect on where we've been. And I've asked you to write two pieces for this week. One is a short essay. Okay, so there's the module 1.4 essay. All right, and so I'm going to go over the instructions really quickly with you. So it says, the purpose of this assignment is for you to write descriptively about one of the readings in this module. This exercise will prepare you to write an essay in Module 3, in which you will critically evaluate a philosophical reading we study. So this is about Module 1, Self, Mind, and Body. So to complete this essay, you will need to first reread the text on which you will write. For this assignment, we will revisit the reading by David Hume, There is No Personal Identity. Okay? Then follow this structure for your essay, and I've laid out how you're going to go about writing this essay. 1. Introduce Hume's philosophy by talking about the topic of his writing. What is the subject that Hume discusses in There is No Personal Identity? And that's one paragraph. 2. Next, describe the main points of Hume's argument by responding to the following question. What reasons does Hume give for denying the existence of an enduring self or soul? And that's 2 to 3 paragraphs. Okay, so that is, you're just writing about Hume. Okay, so in this essay, you're not writing about whether or not you agree with Hume. Okay, so don't make that mistake. Save that for the journal. That's the next one. All right, so in this essay, you're telling me about Hume and what he says. Okay, so I give further instructions. I'm not going to read them all, but make sure that you read them because they're all important. And I give you also the criteria that will be used for grading. Okay, so that's the first assignment due this week, and that is due February 15th. Okay, then the next assignment for this week is your journal. Okay, Module 1.4 journal. And the instructions are in a Word document for both of these assignments. You have to click on the little preview icon. Okay, so this is a journal. This is a different kind of assignment. In this assignment, I'm asking you to be self-reflective. Okay, so that means that to the best that you can, your response to the questions need to take what is said in the assigned readings and then apply those ideas to your own life by discussing situations and circumstances that you have experienced. It's appropriate to use I in journal assignments. Okay, so this you're talking about yourself here, but it's important that don't go off and just talk about yourself. Okay, it's really important to incorporate the reading into your journal. Okay, so the question that I'm going to ask you is, do you have an enduring self or soul? Which of the readings in Module 1.1 through 1.3 is most similar to the beliefs you hold about the enduring self or soul? Explain why the reading is more similar to your beliefs. Okay, so once again, you really have to incorporate a reading to support what you say about your belief about having an enduring self or soul. So you can't just go off and talk about your own thing, okay? You've got to incorporate the text. Okay, that's a really important part of this assignment. All right, now if that's confusing or if you don't understand what that means, get in touch with me, okay? And let's talk about it more, and I will be happy to explain it to you. Okay, so that's what you're doing for this week. Oh, the other thing about the journal, which is very cool, I think, is I'm inviting you to use illustrations along with your writing. Okay, so you can't substitute it for your writing, but so what that means is you can write your journal, and it's short, it's only a few paragraphs, okay, but you can also include up to 3 visual images in your journal response to illustrate your written journal. Okay, so once again, not as a substitute, but just to supplement. Okay, so the written responses, let's see, are required. Okay, so you have to write the response, all right, but you can use these visual images. They can be your own hand-drawn pictures, or they can be photographs. Whatever you submit, if you do submit an image, you don't have to, it's not a requirement, you're just invited to. All images must be in file formats that I can open and that are clearly visible, that I can see clearly. Okay, so anything that I can't open or that I can't see will not be considered. Okay, so also you have to cite the source. You've got to tell me where you get the image from. All right, so that's kind of a little fun part of this assignment. Okay, so this is a long announcement. I'm going to end it here, and I will be back in touch. I want to talk to you probably again about your discussions from last week. Okay, thank you so much for all your hard work. It's a fun class, so I'm pleased with the work that you're doing. Okay, I will see you soon. Have a good week.